So, we have finally, with Eden Zero, and I say finally, and this is, with saying this, hopefully having something of a villain to look forward to after Chapter 28, because, again, as we've always been saying, there's been a lot of table setting going on for this series for like the half year, but with a nice beautiful little color page and potentially an introduction to at least 6 intimidating villains, like, in the long haul. I'd say this is something that I've been kind of waiting forward to, considering that we just deal with, like, the fake sister stuff. And honestly, like, with this chapter as well, probably has my favorite color page that we've had so far on the entire series. It's this really nice one for Chapter 28 New Companions, where we get to see the entire Eden Zero crew right now, where it's like we get to see, you know, like Sister, Homura being like the new people of the group on there. There's a nice one of like all of them just having this nice picture together on there. Like you get to still see like Shiki and like Rebecca are still in there, like outfits, like she's still in like the Cat Girl one, and it's this really nice of like Homura one on there. But honestly, Sister Lily doing the freaking like rocks that like she don't care, she got her tongue out. It's like it's a lot of charm to her, and like generally the fact that you see how friendly that they all are, where they're like all got each other around. It's a nice little touching moment of like all of them together, like being friends like that. I like, again, I think if like this is our first official color design of what we get to see with what Lily looks like, so I thought that was an interesting one. I was expecting her to just be blonde. I wasn't expecting her to have like pure white hair on the most part, but actually, like, again, like I like her design for the most part. Like she's I hope she's just, that's what she does in her off time, is that she's just like a badass rocker chick. She's just like, she don't care, but it's like, it's little things like that that add a little bit of charm to the characters. And when we get to see them all talking about like the entire situation with the chronophage, and it was like, they address it, it's like, you know, well, they then like talk about, it's like, well, did everyone have time to flee out of that? And like Lily's talking about, it's like, no, like, it's quite unlikely, and it's like, but unfortunately this is the law of the cosmos and there's nothing we can physically go against it. And it was just like, well, look who it is, like that, as they're saying, it's been a while, Witch, hasn't it? And it's like, yeah, it has been a while, Sister Lily, and all that. How you been? Like, on there. And it's like, the both of them are just talking about them on there. It's like, you know, we haven't seen each other for a good numerous years right now. And we know that immediately as well, that they managed to fix up Happy as well. Like, they were able to sort him out. One thing that came back into this chapter, and how weirdly that it just immediately got over, and this is the one thing I didn't like about this chapter, was the Rebecca stuff, where she finally just sat down, and then she was like, I am so scared. I am so scared right now. And she's just realizing that, I was like, why am I so scared all suddenly? And she's just thought about all the moments that she got attacked, where like she was being defiled, and she just started crying. And then it kind of got changed into a joke with like Shiki just being like, don't cry, Rebecca, it's fine, and all that. And it's like, for a moment I thought you were gonna lose himself and all that, I want my friends. And it was like, stop doing that tonight. And it's like, and Rebecca kind of wipes it off, trying like smiling a little bit, and it was like, I would like that to be a little bit more of a serious like thing, instead of just being thrown off to joke. It's like, that was traumatizing to her, and I hope this is something that she can like feel like I need to improve myself on, especially with her awakening to her ether gear and everything recently. And it was like, the one thing that I didn't like about this arc, I feel, was how they handled Rebecca. I feel like she was more a damsel in distress, and that was kind of really frustrating to me, because again, like, if we've got the duo antagonist kind of thing going on right now between the two, I feel like with Shiki, with some of his annoyingness that I have seen with him and how he's handled himself, I would prefer it, like, in general, that, you know, like, both of them were kind of carrying their own feet, and like, whilst I feel Rebecca had some nice moments in this arc, I definitely feel like that was the one thing I didn't like about her character, again, like with what they were doing. But the nice thing about Witch and at least Sister Lily is like how they were talking about him. It's like, you know, the new Demon King's a little bit weird, isn't he? But it's like, you know, and Witch had to remind, it's like, you do know that's the kid that Ziggy brought back with him, right? And it was like, you do know that's Shiki, right? And it was like, yeah, I knew that the moment I saw him, all that. That child that Ziggy, you know, nearly gave up finding mother for and all that. He's like, well, grown quite a bit on there. And it was like, as they finally address going on to there, it was like, well, let's talk about some of the stuff that we can do, because, you know, we're currently, you know, missing only 2 members right now and all that. We just need to find Valkyrie and her, like, Hermit. And it was like, then Homura speaks up about this, and it's like, alright, we need to address, you know, the elephant in the room here about Homura. Why the hell do you have Valkyrie's sword? And it was like, oh, that's what that ether gear is then. Like how Ziggy passed down his ether gear to like Shiki, and it's like we find out immediately where it's like, no, Valkyrie is my master. This is the one who taught me about this style, and it's like the truth is that like Master Valkyrie has gone missing, and this is the main reason I went out in the first place, because I'm looking for her to find out what happened. And it was like, yeah, let's go on there. And it's like, and they both say an interesting way. It's like, oh, she took on a student? Like, really? Like, how they're like, kind of curious to see, like, is she just more of the kind of silent, she just doesn't really interact with people? And more importantly, we don't get the reasons, like, why? Why did she take on Homer? Like, why exactly did she take on like, an apprentice of some sort? So, at least discusses the reason of, like, why Homer was interested in the ship, and it was like, they address where it's like, the Demon King, like, is the only person that my master has even she cannot defeat. She has admitted that. It's like, and as a knight, I wish to fight that person, Shiki, who inherited the same name, and I want to see if they're, like, the same person. It's like, and then Shiki kind of jumps off and is like, but I don't want to fight a friend, even though I promised. And this kind of makes Homer, like, you know, blush a little bit, like, kind of confused. And it was like, wait, what? It's like, you're Grandpa's friend's student, right? And all that, so that means you're a friend too around here. And it's just like, I guess, right, that this fight isn't out, like, just to let you know, this fight isn't out of hate or anger. It's a competition. You could say it's something I want to do as a friend. I'm not saying that I want to fight you right now. It's just one day when I want to test my mettle against you, considering that it's like, my master did that. That's exactly who you are supposed to be right now. It's like, you're supposed to be the inheritor of the person that my master couldn't beat, so I want to see if I can do the same thing and prove myself if I am better than you. You know, pretty much honor on the line. It's just like, look, let me stay on this ship for a while. I'm prepared to do whatever it takes to help find Valkyrie, my master. I'm willing to do that. And it was like, Shiki's like, sure. Welcome aboard. Let's find Valkyrie and then, you know, compete. How about that? We find your master and then we do this. Sure. And then she's like smiling a little bit and she's like, well, thank you for that and all that. I really appreciate that. And it was like, and then Weiss has saying like, what he's mentioned was like, well, we don't know the current whereabouts, and everyone looks to him and is like, oh, so I guess you're joining us now after all this little hodgepodge that you were giving us. And he's like blushing a little bit and he's like, come on, to think about it, you helped us, you saved Rebecca, and it was like, you were really kind to us and all that. Just look. We're friends already, man. Just join up with us. And he just kind of puts in a little bit of a handshake. It's like, look, yeah, I got nowhere else to go, sure. Then Moskoy, that weird big sumo-looking dude with the giant don't push fingers on this ship, and I'm like, wait, what? Why has he got a suit on? Why is he look at this weirdo motherfucker that just got completely obliterated? And Sister's like, no. He's my servant. Leave it off and all that. He's doing chores around the ship right now, as like Witch says, and it's like he was with me until that fake sister remodeled him into being a subordinate for her. And I was like, right, he's like pretty cute, and Ian is like, no, he's fucking horrible looking. Like, get this weird triangle nose. Like, I don't even know. Like, it's Mr. Potato Head. Like had sex with a sumo or something. I don't know, and I'm fat as well, so I guess I'm allowed to fat shame people. That's clearly how it works, right? No, I'm fucking joking, but it's like this weird Mr. fucking Potato Head guy, and I'm like, why is he here? And there's a little funny joke where it's like, I found him seriously injured, bleeding out, and these poor bastard did it. It's like, how did they do that to him and all that? It's like, I'll find whoever did that to him and give him the taste of their medicine. And then Homer is like, actually, that was that. It's like, no, don't tell her. And immediately he has a thing where it's like, he keeps wanting to push his button on there. And it's like, no, you can't push the button. You can't do that. And then we go back to like the whole, with the whole Federation and everything, where they're talking about where it's like, oh, we need to go talking about the whole chronophage right now. And it's like, they understand that it was about 1,200 years and all that. And it's like, that's even worse than the 50 years on Norma. Like, what the hell? Like, why is this one a much more difference? And it's like, even discussing the numbers and all that, less than 10% survived the attack. And it's like, they're immediately talking about with the planet as well, where it's like, well, the difference is, like, Norma, there was a lot of scumbags on that planet and all that. It was mainly criminals and all that. And it's like, no one's going to be losing, you know, life, like, or losing any tears over them. And they discuss where it's like, but still life is life and all that, and countless lives have vanished, and it's like, no matter what though and all that, they were free to do what they wished on that planet on there, and it was a prison and all that without iron bars. However, this is a problem now because they decided to release someone, and we get introduced to this new character known as like Colonel Jaguar on there, who's like this big old ass man with the biggest massive chops and beard you've ever seen. I'm like, oh, that's an intimidating looking old ass man, like Colonel dude. And they talk about what with this new character that they're setting up, and it's like, this man is different to Illiga and the mercenaries of Rogue Out, and it's like, the man that turned Gilst into a rogue planet to begin with. One of the 6 galactic warlords, Draken Joe, the Alchemist of Darkness, this evil ass looking motherfucker, and I'm like, I guess this is our first villain then. Our first real antagonist or villain that you want to say, because this guy, Black Mascara, evil looking like Jafar, goatee on there, like big pimp ass coat with the feathers rolling down, like jewelry on there, and I'm like, yeah, this guy looks kind of, I mean, he's clearly not a good guy. I mean, he's got the Alchemist of Darkness, for fuck's sake. Like, I mean, you think of that name and you're like, yeah, he must be a good bloke. He must be chaotic good on the D&D list, I guess. Like, that must be his, like, overall, like, whole neutrality on it. So, with that, we now know that at least we're being set up with 6 intimidating, at least I hope so, of, like, villains to go around in the story. Again, we don't know anything else about the others apart from this one, Draken Joe, who was the reason that, you know, Ozzy made Gilst into the shithole in the first place. So that's an interesting little bit of trivia with him. Whether or not this is going to go anywhere, this is where I hope, you know, again, as I've been preaching and going on and on and on and on and on about the stuff of Eden Zero, about how I've been wanting a little bit more aggressive of, you know, a villain or have something or an organization on there, because, you know, so far with, like, you know, Rogue Out, like, everything that we've seen with Illiga so far, like, all that going around is, like, it wasn't that very intimidating and all that, or, like, Rogue Out, like, those guys were not, like, honestly not that there into, like, it set up Jin, and that was pretty much around about it. Like, that was getting a new character onto there, but now we could have had something very interesting where 2 members of the party could be quite interested in this person and seeing what he's going to potentially get. Now, there's still no interaction or a reason why Draken will go after Shiki or anything, unless they're heading out into the same destination. Maybe they find out something about Valkyrie, maybe they know something about Hermit, and, like, Hermit is so far the one we know the least information about so far, so could potentially be like one of the last few that we're going to be getting, since, like, at the moment the current objective is, well, we know a little bit about, like, Valkyrie, but we're drawing short straws here, and it's like, so far we've pulled nothing out of our asses right now. There's no rabbit coming out of our hats, so we need to see where this is going to be going. Again, all we've got to go on Draken Joe so far is that he's clean, like, he's some alchemist, or whether or not he does some weird mixing of shit, like, or what his abilities are, but clearly if he was able to turn an entire planet into a whole thieves' den, that he might have some serious clout onto him. And now that he's exactly free, makes me curious about the other warlords. Like, if we're going to know about the other 6 galactic warlords, I want to know how the other 5 are compared to him and their interactions, and more importantly, like, why is this guy supposed to be a big badass serious guy? So overall, I think I like this chapter. Like, with some of the stuff that I had, I was like, oh, thank God, someone who looks intimidating, and someone that could, you know, hopefully be a challenge to the group, and, you know, add, like, hopefully, who is at least an interesting character, at least. That's all I can hope for so far, because, again, with what Illiga, with Rogao, with whoever the fuck the first guy that we was against, you know, that no-name dude in mech, let's just hope that they were actually something a little bit more towards the future. So, overall, that is all from me and all that from this chapter. Thank you always for watching, and I'll see you guys, though, next time.